Hello my friends and welcome back to a grand finals of StarCraft 2. Today we have Dark versus Solar, a Zerg versus Zerg banger, Korean StarCraft League number 65. And it's on a map that I haven't seen any ZVZs on. That's mainly because I don't watch a lot of ZVZ. I tend to avoid the mirror matches, unless they are phenomenal. And I've heard good stories about this particular mirror match grand finals, my dear friends. I've heard very, very good stories about this. So without further ado, let's just hop into it, see what the boys have cooked up for us, as Dark is in his final stretch, really, of StarCraft 2 gameplay until he has to enter the military. I feel like we've been saying this about Dark for the past 3 years. It's like really about to go right now, guys. Like right around the corner. He's about to hit it big in the military. He won't be playing no more. And every single time he goes to another offline event and he plays every single online cup that has ever existed in the past 2 years. He's still here, but rumor on the street is that now really he's about to hit the military and we won't be capable of enjoying Dark's high test play no more as the casual StarCraft 2 viewer. For now though, he's still among us. Let's not pretend like he's dead and gone. He's still here, about to show us some bangers of games, I can only imagine. Solar opening up with what seems to be a fast 3-hatch, gasless. Now that is interesting, because this is a map where there is a theoretical wall that you could build over here. I think it is hard to actually get it down. Like, if I look at this feels like a 4-structure wall. Bum, bum. I think the third doesn't quite cover it. This feels like 10 hexes. So I'm really curious if we're going to see something out of Dark to try and punish this, or if Dark's plan is to pretend to punish this and then, go into some heavy droning himself. I'm just curious to see what's going to kick off here. We see Solar with a double gas as a follow-up. Fast 3-hatch. Gonna have lots of drones, especially once the third base kind of starts to kick in. Already has 3 queens, 4 queens. It's going to be 4 queens here. And yeah, okay, here we go. Dark is indeed going to try to go for a little tricky move. 28 drone without a Baneling Nest, pure Link Flood. He's still mining gas, which I don't entirely understand. It's not like we have fast layer tech behind this. He is going to get an Evo chamber as the Great Wall now starts. We have a Roach Warren. This is a single queen hole. Okay, I'm really curious. That's a second hole over here. It's going to finish this up. Yeah, that's just... There's a... Need to plug that. Okay, it's a double hole wall right now. And we indeed needed 4 structures to finish this thing. I am very curious who this works out well for. For now, it feels fine for Solar. Yes, he's invested a lot in a wall, but he's still up quite a bit in workers. I mean, he didn't build any panic links here, which I wouldn't have expected out of him either. He's following this up with... what is this? Speed? 6 roaches. This is a very odd follow-up. Because he is just invested in 3 Evo chambers. And now he's going to be cutting at 37 workers to go for a push on a map that is probably the longest in the map pool. He's gonna go for it. Okay, this queen's gonna get surrounded. Will be saved here by the transfuse. Solar's going to sacrifice, or sorry, Dark's gonna sacrifice a couple of his links, get a scout in, and now sees, hey, there's actually a lot of units popping out. I wish my Rotorn wasn't so freaking late. Lair is about to finish up as well. 52 out of 57. It's going to actually completely evacuate away from the third base. I'm not sure if this is allowed. Look, I'm loving the vibe here that Dark is going for, the I'm ahead in workers vibe, but I'm not so sure if he's far ahead enough in workers to get away with a triple spine, give up your third as a response. These roads are also going to be in quite some trouble here. Links are going to get us around on that. We have a lair behind this for Solar as well. I'm really curious what Dark's plans are. Okay, he's actually just going to give it up. Completely give it up, which I guess makes sense. He just doesn't have enough stuff. Solar making the correct read here, apparently, knowing that he could follow it up with a random Ling Roach attack and actually get a kill on this hatch. Solar has managed to drone up behind this as well. does have a pretty limited third base option because there's not that many minerals. So we'll be going into heavy gas, I can only imagine. It's going to push into the spines. Not sure what I think of that. Dark probably liked it. It's like, okay, push into there, buddy. I just invested a bunch of minerals into those spines. If you want, you know, if you want to allow me to get some use out of them, then I'll allow you to do it. You have a Spire now, which also got scouted out of Solar. And Solar is going to, as a result, get his Carapace upgrade and +1 range. This is one of those games where all of the theory kind of goes out of the window. And these guys, they're just improvising. I don't think this type of game has really been played before. Now going into 4 hatch is Dark as well. Which makes sense if you're playing Spire +1 melee, I guess. You really care about the gas count. Solar's gonna go for a Spire himself. Does have a higher gas income. But I wonder if he's allowed to just match mutas against his opponent. If your mutas are going to be delayed by 40 seconds. Maybe this is a Corruptor follow-up. We still have the range upgrades coming out as well. So maybe like range Roach Corruptor. This is a composition we've seen in the past. It's not a composition we've seen recently very much. And the larger the map, the harder it is to play Roach Corruptor. I'm just having a difficult time seeing Muta play here. But at the same time, this map is so freaking large that by the time these 7-8 Mutas that Dark has built fly across the map, the first 7-8 Mutas that Solar wants to build are probably out. And then we're in a situation where gas income is actually favorable for Solar and mineral income is extremely favorable for Solar. So here we go. We have 12 Mutas on the way. We have 8 Mutas for Dark. Dark also went for the +1 attack, while Solar is now allowed to go, yeah, there we go, +1 Carapace, of course. And Carapace is better in Muta Wars. Attack is much better in versus Roach or versus Hydra type of compositions. And I think Dark would have never called out this type of play out of Solar. It's hard to imagine a Zerg being down that far in layer time and going into a Spire, but Solar's just doing it, and Dark hasn't really achieved a whole lot with these. What has he killed? Like half an Overlord? Maybe a Ling? So these are fast mutas, but the gas income was just down. We're now going to go up to 8 gases is Solar. Dark is kind of copying that as well. Has seen the extra extractor over here too. Ling is going to go in for the scout. Is going to see the Mutalisk, and that is a big thing here. Dark instantly wants to throw down an infestation pit. Look at that. This is such phenomenal game sense, by the way. Like, there's very limited information around. Yet, Dark knows that he's going to be down overall in gas and mineral income. So he knows that he can't just play a complete mirror game. Like Muta versus Muta here. He's just going to get completely blasted. So he says, hey, I'm going to transition into Infestors or into Vipers. I think it's going to be Infestors first. And then maybe Vipers. But first, like a stable position with Infestors. Kind of sneak tech into that, okay? This is not a legit play. Like, this is highly illegal. Look at the Muta count right now. 25 to 19. If these two fight, there's going to be a very convincing winner in Solar. But for Solar, it's very scary to move across the map as well. Because there's so little vision. Muta versus Muta is a, you know, I don't want to call it gimmicky, but it can be a bit gimmicky, you know. You're moving out. Maybe some Mutas are going to get picked off as reinforcements. Maybe a Ling run by runs in. So it can be hard to make the call that Solar is making right now. Pretty convincingly as well. Pretty committed here. Just gonna go for an attack. There's not a single Spore here even to help out. The ground forces are probably gonna be in favor of whoever's Mutas are allowed to help. Did we see any Fungals yet? One Fungal, second Fungal is hitting a lot here, but the Muta counts are 26 to 16, and these Fungals weren't in position immediately at the start. There's no Spores to help out either, and that probably means that the superior Muta count here is just going to win. The Roaches and Lings of Dark managed to get a W though, so that is kind of a big deal, but at the same time, what do we have here? Just a Muta count that is so extremely large. He's even in supply now. There's no way Dark actually holds this, right? He still has, what, 2 Fungals? 1 Fungal. It could also use Microbial Shroud, but that's just for the ground. It doesn't work on air units. +1 melee, +2 melee is about to finish up. Here comes a Muta versus Muta fight again. Solar, 20 to 28. Needs to be really careful of Fungals, but at the same time, there's only a single Fungal. Here we go once more. Single fungal does connect. 17 mutas to 27. We have a Ling run by going across the map, as well as a single muta now attacking these drones. Dark pretty much giving up his home position, and Solar's gonna take game number 1. But boy, did it look close there for a second. Game number 2 opens up with a 12 pool, as well as with a very early drone scout. Now, I have a gut feeling, a feeling in the belly, alright? Right in the gut, that this is not for gathering information. This guy is not on a reconnaissance mission. No, quite the contrary, my dear friends. He's here for offensive purposes only. He's going to be hiding over here for a little bit. Now, there is 2 things you can do. Well, there's many things you can do. You could spray in your opponent's main base and then piss off again. But realistic options that I've seen in the past are a hidden spine on the edge, although that's not possible anymore, I believe. I think that always gets spotted by the hatchery nowadays. What you could also do is you proxy a hatchery over here, right outside of vision. You cancel it, and then construct a spine crawler after, like on a little bit of leftover creep. Look at this. There we go. You need to actually build it for a sufficient amount of time, though. That is really important. I've seen people cancel too early, and then the creep generation from the hatchery isn't good enough. And they're just standing there. It's like, oh, I can't fit a spine on here. This sucks. That's not going to be the case. Solar knows how to do it. It's going to be constructing this spine. Now, what was the opener here for Dark? Dark went for a gas and a normally timed pool. Links moving across the map as well. There is a hatchery behind this, so this feels very all-in. And yes, this is very committed, but it's not as all-in as one might suspect. This is a very far away placed spine, by the way. It's also losing HP because it's being built off creep. Usually the response to this, by the way, is a significant drone pool. And you kind of want to save this hatchery, right? He should build it ASAP, not this close. This is like a half a second that he lost there. Okay, it's burrowing in, burrowing in, burrowing in. I think this is a dead hatch, to be honest. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a dead hatchery. Yep, dead hatchery confirmed here. What a good build out of Solar. What a good opener here for Solar, who now... Is he going to move this spine further up, or do you just kind of let it sit here? I wonder what the correct play is. I guess you can just let it sit here and let it die, because you still have a position downstairs. You know what I mean? Like, your opponent still can't expand. Meanwhile, at home, what is Solar doing? Okay, he probably should be adding a couple of drones. How many links did he build? He built 14 links. That is 7 sets of links. Usually, we only see 6 sets of links. 6 sets of links. There you go. 12 links. So that's -1 drone for the extra set of links. And it's also minus a drone on the spine crawler. It's a lot of money on the spine crawler. And it's a lot of mining time that drone traveling across the map lost as well. So yes, it is a very significant investment coming out of Solar. But I think it's an investment that might have just paid off. Because that fast hatchery, that's also a drone that has died. That is also 275 minerals that have gone down the drain. So work account right now, about even. The one thing Solar needs to be really freaking careful about is not losing all of his links for free here. Because speed is about to finish up. Links, I mean, they're scary. You know, they are scary. They can track you down. So how far is Metabolic Boost away? It's 14 seconds. I think these links are going to be in a bit of trouble. These bad boys are going to move across the map. We don't have a wall done quite yet. Spine crawler defensively being thrown up right now for Solar. This is beautiful. Oh my god, this is nasty. This is just nasty. He's gonna run in here. Does he want to go for a cancel on the hatch, or does he want to just clear as many drones as he can? Maybe go for a queen. Okay, he's gonna go for a queen. I would love for him to go for a scout into the main base as well, because that's actually important. Getting a vision of that lair, and he is gonna get it. Sees, okay, fast lair, what could it be? You know, you're kind of running down the options in your head. Roach Warren on one base, Nidus, very unlikely. There's double gas. I'm feeling a strong Spire play here, a very strong Spire play. And the response against that is going to be simple as hell. You're just going to add a couple of queens. Ooh, you can't afford to let these go up the ramp, Solar. Blunder City over here. Out of the red Zerg player. Or maybe it's bait. Is Dark an actual fish? Did Solar just cast a line with some tasty bait on there to lock up these links? No, these links are not being locked up one bit. It's gonna cost him a drone or two maybe here. Yeah, one more goes down. Second drone will fall as well. That is a little bit nasty. Third drone goes down too. I mean, these links had been built already. Might as well try to get some use out of them. 33 workers to 30. Dark actually managed to maneuver himself into a very playable position here. Once again, Solar is going to allow these links to pass. Solar has to be one of the worst gatekeepers in the entire world. Is an open border policy here. Absolutely. Link's just running by. Left, right, and center. Spire now is about to complete. This extractor is going to get targeted down as well. A couple of drones not working. Oh, this is pure chaos. This is actually pure chaos. All Solar had to do was keep 2 queens on the ramp the entire time. He had 4 queens. He had the resources for it to just kind of sit them there and make sure that his base was secured. Drone's going to get taken out. Oh, it doesn't. Nice transfuse there. Saving 50 minerals. But the first 5 Mutalisks are out. And once these start pumping, I actually think Solar is in a bit of trouble. He isn't really far up in supply. He ended up losing 5 workers here. Doesn't have a 3rd base on the way. Doesn't have a super fast lair either. So he's going to be down in 3rd base timing. Slightly up in upgrades. But I generally believe that Spire Tech is superior to Roach Tech. So Spire Tech has a couple of follow-ups. You can throw down an Evo Chamber here and go for melee upgrades, play kind of a heavy Ling Bane style, or we can still go into Roaches after just taking control with a low amount of Mutas. Ideally, you want to have 1 or 2 Mutas, just taking out these Overlords as well. I think that is pretty important to do, but first you try and go across the map. I think this is a very sensible play out of Dark, knowing Solar delayed his lair quite a bit. It's like, hey, what can I deal damage-wise to Solar on the other side of the map before the defensive setup is complete. And it's going to be 3 workers, a little bit of mining time. Maybe we can pick off like an Overlord or some random creep tumors in between. And then you can always have reinforcing Mutas, kind of clearing these Overseers and Overlords. So yeah, I do like that. There's no Spore here in the natural for Solar either. So I was kind of expecting to hold this with just Queens. Well, we see how that worked out as he ends up losing 5 workers in this spot. 3rd base potentially in a little bit of trouble. This 3rd base is potentially just in a lot of trouble, no? If the extra Mutas plus Link show up over here, we don't have a Spore in position. This is just 3 queens. 2 transfuses between them. Like, good luck, my friend. He's gonna pick up 1 or 2 more drones here as well. Actually starts targeting the queen first. Where's the rest of them Mutas? Okay, here we go. Yeah, 3rd base is absolute toast here, in my opinion. What started as such a good opener for Solar, taking out the hatchery, quickly went haywire, and now these Roaches are in, well, not a bit of trouble, they're in a world of trouble. Solar's trying to follow this up with Infestors as well, but this hatchery is just going to end up falling. There were no transfuses available on these queens. Without a hatch, I mean, it's hard to mine from this base. You can long distance, but long distance never really works in the end. It never does. What's this Muta count? 16. Plus 2 Muta attacks or flyer attacks on the way here as well. Just gonna catch a couple of them. I wonder, like, now that we've seen the Infestors, like, is there going to be like a change of pace? Are we gonna go into a faster hive here, or we're just going to continue flying around with high Muta counts? Because the one thing you always have to kind of worry about once Infestors are out, it's just getting like chain fungled and like 6 queens and 8 Hydras or something, just clearing like big packs of your Mutaflog. That is very scary. We're gonna have an Evo Chamber. That is a late Evo Chamber. We're having a what's this called? Pneumatized Carapace. Overlord Speed coming in as well. It's gonna allow this Overseer to kind of easily track where everything is. Ooh, nice fungal there into nothingness. Creep tumors being taken out. It's denying vision for the opponent. So Dark is playing this very accurate in my opinion. He's adding in 6 Overlords. It's fairly low on the drone count though. It's funny because it felt really good for Dark. But now, you know, you look at this situation. 57 workers to 60. We have Infestors defensively. There are 6 queens. We have enough Spores in position to hold the main base. And I think our units can honestly deal with the Mutas quite well. There's going to be a Bailing Nest on the way, but for now I would love to see the focus just being on a lot of drones for Dark. Going up to 75, 80 drones a bit quicker. 8 gases, maybe even taking a 5th base ASAP as well, because he has so much control with these Mutas. Adding a lot of links in at this point is going to really cut into your worker count. And you have the map control to get a high worker count. Solar does not have the tools to get a 4th base up and running within the next minute or so, minute and a half. So Solar here is looking at two options. Solar can say, hey, I want to go into Hive, I want to get Vipers, I want to get Lurkers out. And once I get Viper Lurker, I have an army composition that you just can't beat. Or what I can do, I can go for maybe a 1-1 timing attack or a 2-1 timing attack with Roach, Hydra, Infestor. This can be very powerful as well. So there's a couple of options that Dark needs to keep into account. But the one thing I do really wish for Dark here is just a slightly higher worker count. Slightly higher. Really just 75 would do the trick. Just some more minerals, because right now he's floating a crap ton of gas. He's increasing his Mutalisk count. Do we even have a Bailing Nest? We do have a Bailing Nest, but we don't have Bailing Speed yet. That means that high Hydra counts could actually do something. Usually Bailings are the counter to that. Dark seems to just be setting up for a full-on base trade, if anything. Ooh, drops in the main base. I haven't quite seen that before. This has been a very unique series so far. Like, legit, just very odd gameplay. This is not how we usually see Mura being played. This is also not how we usually see the early game being played. I'm assuming this is going to be full... Yeah, there we go. Dropper Lords coming in. 6. So a lot of links that are going to head into the main base. And it's going to require quick thinking here out of Solar. Solar, meanwhile, says, hey, I don't need to do any quick thinking if I'm the one that's attacking. It's going to send some of these Hydras now to try and stop this Mutaflock from dealing too much damage. Infestors, however, not in position. Bailings are running in forward. The Link Drop wants to start moving in as well. So yeah, Dark really focused here on the base trade. Supplies are so freaking close though. This Link Drop needs to deal some serious damage. Ideally it pulls stuff back. Fungals, are they in range? No, they're not. They're absolutely not. And here we go. Gonna see a major unload into the main base. Let's see if Solar can deal with this load of links. I think the answer is gonna be no. These guys have just +1. As the Sport are gonna deal a lot of damage to these Overlords. That is pretty unfortunate, because that is your evacuation method, in my mind at least. Yeah, Solar's just gonna send it. He says, hey, I can actually deal with that properly. Or can I? Or can he? It's gonna be close, loses the lair. At the same time, we have another base trading move coming in here out of Dark onto the third base. We have a Spine and a couple of Spores. It means that these Mutas can just run in. Bailings are nearby as well. Hydras are gonna get targeted down. Do we have enough Spores defensively to deal with the flock? No. Seems to be the answer for now. At the same time, Solar is running fully across. This is full send from both sides, as the Spore is still active. There are 23 Mutalisks left, but only 19 Hydras. Roaches are going to clean up majority of the links down here, but there is a serious issue right now where I don't think there's enough anti-air. All of these Hydras and Infestors need to run back, while we also have some units still killing dudes. A cool play here for Dark would actually be to try and sneak in a couple of these Spines. I love this split, by the way, keeping some Hydras on the aggressive side so that pure Muta can just clean it up. Like, if you're just leaving Roaches here, 5-6 Mutas come back home, and they just clean all of this up. This is going to be a full-on base trade here out of Dark. What is the building count left for Solar? Yes. No, he's dead. He's gonna get eliminated here. Is this the last building? The spawning pool is the only thing left. It's going to be game. Poof. Not rebuild their base and is being revealed as Dark wins game number 2 here in a really sick base trade after a Spinecrawler rush from a proxy hatch. You love to see it. Alright, game number 3 is going to be played here on Eldorado. I just wanted to note something interesting, is that both of these players are still playing 13 Overlord, while I believe, from what I've seen, is that 15 Overlord right now is the most solid, efficient opener. So going for an Extractor trick into Overlord is the best. 14 Overlord with Extractor trick is also better than 13 Overlord. Zerg players have been wrong about this. I just want to point that out, that Zerg players have been, ever since the start of Legacy of the Void, have been playing pretty much 13 Overlord. Some players, in particular Shin, have played 14 Overlord Extractor trick. And about, 8 years after the game release, so 2016 till now, they've been playing their opener wrong, inefficiently. I think it's like a 10 mineral difference or something. But still, that is a big freaking difference, if you ask me. In the early game, to be doing wrong all those years. I'm not saying Zerg players as a collective are the dumbest, but if there was a competition, who are the dumbest? The Zerg have a very good chance of winning, because that is straight up embarrassing. It really is. I have nothing else to say about it. I'd be highly embarrassed if I was a Zerg player. The most embarrassed of all, actually. Man, I'd be pooping my pants out of embarrassment and then be embarrassed about that again. And here we see Solar and Dark still playing 13 Overlord as well. So yeah, they're not quite catching on. I saw Cyril already consistently playing 15 Overlord, of course, the good man. I hope Shin actually sticks with his 14 Overlord forever, because I'm just a fan of that. I think Shin is cool. Like, when Shin does things different, I don't actually care whether it's efficient or not, because he's just really cool. He's probably the highest test StarCraft 2 player we have currently. I've read studies about Shin that he has higher testosterone level than regular steroid users as well. You know, he doesn't need that. He doesn't need to inject stuff into his butt. Shin is also naturally muscled because of that. You should see his fingers, because that's really the only part of his body that he trains. They're freaking huge. Like, and not like fat fingers, not like hot dogs. He's like freaking muscled. I would not want to be a key on the keyboard of Shin, because he presses down hard on those things, alright? Most people, they have to, you know, there's like a click life on keyboard keys. It's like, this switch works 1,000,000 times or something like that. And that's an average keyboard user. But with Shin, you can literally take like 10% of that keyboard life, because he presses down so freaking hard on them. Bam! Muscled fingers, baby. That's how he does it. If Shin would just start bouldering, like, he'd be one of the best instantly, purely because of his finger strength. It's crazy how good it is. You'd be shocked. Shin, by the way, is the player formerly known as Ragnarok, formerly known as Shin He-Bom, which is, I think, his real name. He changed names a couple of times. But that's not who we're talking about right now. Now we're going to be talking about some Solar versus Dark, who both have opened with, honestly, the golden standard of ZVZ. 32 Baneling Nest, 30 Hatchery, Roach Worm before Evo, playing safe, playing solid. You hate to see it. Yeah, grow some balls, do something random, alright? Proxy another spine across the map. No, let's see. Ooh, look at that. Second gas. That usually indicates some weird type of all-in. Or, well, weird type. It just indicates some type of all-in. And it's now going to be on Dark the Scout. Look at this. I always kind of imagine these links being sent in like scouting rockets, you know? As a kid, you used to have these... we call them Roman candles, I believe. And it's basically like a little tube that shoots fireballs. It's like fireworks that you can buy, and you shoot it up at what do you call it? New Year's Eve. We call it Old Year's, like Old Year's Eve, the 31st of December, and you could shoot those at each other, you know, in a competition, like the little fireballs. Whenever I play ZVZ and I want to scout, I always imagine these links. You're just kind of shooting into your opponent's base like a Roman candle. Puff! Right in their face, you know, and you want to get the scout. And so far, Solar has not taken any damage yet. You know, he was wearing the goggles properly. He's not been lit on fire or lost eyesight because he was playing with fireworks as a 7-year-old. No, he's doing phenomenal. Dark hasn't gotten the scouting info. Is building 5 blind roaches here and is actually sending a lot of links across the map right now as well. Solar's going to stop this. Has a random Baneling in the mix too. It's really key for Dark that the next larva pop, look at this. You see that this is going to be the next larva pop that's going to decide everything. These can't be drones. If they're drones, Dark is in trouble. Oh, they're drones. 3 drones, 3 roaches. Okay, it's not full drones, because the larva pop in the main and the natural, right? If this was full drones, I think Dark would be in a lot of trouble. Right now, it's going to still be tight, because this is a very committed attack coming out of Solar. Solar does not have a lair. Solar does not have +1 range. Solar does not have a roach speed coming in, you know? That's a lot of freaking money that is being spent into other things here for Dark. There are 15 roaches against 12, but 39 lings against 6. So these banelings need to deal some serious damage. There's 2 banelings still morphing, 3 banelings still morphing. Lings are being taken out. Can we get a morph on that roach? No, we can't. Where's the rest of the lings? They're now moving across the map. More and more lings moving. But Solar, I don't think is quite going to be capable of breaking this, as there's still banelings around, stopping these lings from connecting with the roaches. The triple queens doing God's work as well. There's one more transfuse out. Is going to save that one roach. We need more banelings though defensively here, because there's no more banes remaining for Dark. However, there's no more aggressive roaches here for Solar, and Dark, despite not getting the scout in, does manage to hold this very committed roach push. Solar is not here for a long time. nor for a good time. He's just here for a fast time. He's opening up with a 12-11. I didn't even know this was a build order. I heard of the 13-12 before, but a 12-11 is new. This was a 12 extractor, 11 pool. So this is the fastest humanly possible speed / bailing nest, depending on what Solar decides he wants. Dark is going to open up with a 16 hatchery. I am so curious right now, my dear friend, what this is going to look like. What is this gonna look like? Because boy, am I curious. We have a 13 Overlord. Does he want a queen with it then? No. He just doesn't have the cash for a queen, right? I mean, he just doesn't. It's going to be 2 sets of links plus Bailing Nest. Or speed. Speed into Bailing Nest? He's not pulling out. Ooh, he's not pulling out. You're gonna be a father, Solar. Metabolic boost. Still not pulling out. It's gonna be twins. He's gonna throw down a Bailing Nest as well. Oh no. Does Dark have any protection here? Or is he on the pill? We don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. He's not scouting this quite yet. Look at this. Nice routing of the links. Floop. Floop. Just gonna go around. Is he gonna wait for a bit? Dude, this is a wild setup. This is such a wild setup. This is as all in as they come. If Dark tries to hold the low ground, he's probably dead. You're not allowed to hold the low ground here. This is a fact. An absolute factoid, okay? Not a doubt in my mind that this is an absolute fact. So we're not seeing that happen right now. More links are going across the map. The lack of a natural is very obvious. Dark is just adding 1 spine, but he's playing this so careful. Bailing Nest and supply block. 2nd spine. And now what Solar's gonna do, he's going to randomly send in... Oh, Banes. Oh, but he didn't take the ramp. He forgot to take the ramp. Ooh, he's now gonna go in. But both of these Banes are probably just gonna get targeted down. There we go. Spine will stay alive as well. There is a 2nd spine in the main too, so even a run-by wouldn't have worked. This is once again an exciting game. Man, Solar really knows how to make things fun. He really is not here to play a long, winded out macro games. No. Au contraire, my dear friends. He's going for the fast and dirty. The quick and nasty. The sloppy attacks here. And so far, are they working? I don't even know. I would like to see a 2nd Bailing, wouldn't I? I really would like to see a 2nd Bailing, let me tell you. There's something beautiful about having a 2nd Bailing. Dark once again going for 1 base lair. Does he have... Yeah, he has a creep tumor now coming down. 16 to 18 workers. There is a 2nd Bailing. Okay, he sent this home. He sent a Ling home. I was like, why is he sending that Ling home? It's for a defensive Bailing, which is a very understandable play in my mind. You know that? That is a very understandable play because he was afraid of this. He should have been afraid of that. I would love to see a minor split off on these links to deal with these Banes, by the way. Yes! Yeah! Of course! There's nothing to defend them. This is 100% correct right now. Couple more links are coming in. This Bane is so freaking important at this moment. You can't even imagine it. Oh! Barely manages to not kill that Baneling. But the setup is solid. The setup is safe. As we have a 3rd queen on the way. We have 2 Banelings out. Like, good luck trying to kill this. This Link should move across the map, although I'm not sure how much it can scout. This Overlord still sees how slow that hatchery is. So, we're droning, right, baby? Oh, hell yeah, we're droning. And I'm free. Droning. Okay, a bunch of Links trying to run by. Banelings in position to zone it out. No lair. Oh, he's gonna go for a roach push. No. This is not what we want here. This is not what we need. Oh, he's building so many links. No, we need a drone. We need to get ahead where we can get ahead. And that was in drones. We should have been on 30 drones at this point. But instead it's going to be 23 to 25. Like, don't forget there's still 2 spines defensively. That's why I'm so worried about this. I don't think there's going to be a follow-up attack. Well, I think there's going to be one, but I don't think there's a viable follow-up attack here for Solar. He's adding in 2 Overlords to create like capacity for his roaches. But by the time these roaches pop, the Spire will be done. And by the time the roaches make their way across the map, the Mutas will be done. And what is one thing that Mutas have that roaches don't, is they have wings. Well, maybe roaches do have wings, but they can't fly. They have like gnarly fangs, I guess. They don't really have wings. But if you could flap the fangs at a very high speed, maybe you could, I don't know, maybe it's possible. Not feathery enough, perhaps. We have 2 extra extracts. I mean, this is, oh no. This is reminiscent of game 2 as well, isn't it? Where it felt like Solar had something until he didn't anymore. Now he sees there's like 2 spines done, 3 more on the way. The first 3 Mutas coming out as well. And it doesn't feel like a lot, but you don't need a lot. You just need enough. And 3 Mutas is probably enough to eventually kind of whittle down this force that Solar has created. 4 spines are on the way. And at least 2 of those will finish, in my professional opinion. There are plenty of Banelings. Should split them in 2-2, so that they can't die against, you know, single Banelings of his opponent. We're gonna get the first Muta out right now. Good spread on these spines as well. I think 3 of them are gonna finish up. Look at that. Baneling still alive on the side of Dark. She's gonna push them into the main base. Good control out of Solar though. Really nice control here with those 2 roaches pushing those Banes back. And maybe Solar can actually do this. He is sniping a lot of Banes. There's not going to be that many drones. And that means that if all of these drones die, that maybe Solar's just going to be capable of winning pretty much by his opponent not having any mining left. I do believe that the correct target here is going to be drones rather than spines. I think they should have been an ignore here on the spines. Like, take out like 5 extra drones here. You're working 25 to 12. Then you just add pure queens at home, and maybe it's fine. Lynx now streaming in. 27 workers to 17 still, but the Muta count is pretty significant. Lynx probably should start hiding. We have queens in production. We have drones in production. It's going to be 18 drones to 28. I'm not sure if that is enough, because we have 1, we have 2, 3, 4 Overlords that are going to end up dying for free. That is a lot of Overlords. They need to be sent back already. These 2 can still be saved. I think this one is toast. Like, absolute toast. 2 more drones do end up falling. 6 more drones on the way. Queen count is going to go up to 5, 6-ish. We're going to need spores, right, guys? Spores? Do we need them? Have you heard of them? 6 Mutalisk. Okay, this Overlord is not quite going to get home. It's going to be 35 to 24 workers. I don't actually know who's winning this game. My instinct tells me that it's the builder of the Mutalisk. But if Dark doesn't actually manage to deal a lot of direct damage, like income-wise, look at this, 1700 to 900. That's because gas is a requirement when you're playing Mutas. So Dark is focusing very heavily on the gas. Dark actually needs to do something serious here. Like, actually something serious, like killing queens. Not chasing Lynx around. Like, this is senseless, okay? This makes no sense. And thus senseless. Solar is already going to get OV speed. He's up 13 workers. It's not going to be a 3rd base anytime soon for Dark. I think Solar can actually pull ahead significantly. He's now building roaches and Overlord speed. Does he want to go for another all-in? I think he's misunderstanding his position. Maybe it's... I hope this is Overlord speed for scouting, not for pushing. Because he can just take a 3rd base, get +1 going on an Evo chamber, and his position is so freaking good, no? If he runs across the map, though, that would be playing into Dark's hand, because Dark is just... Look at this guy's pumping units like his life depends on it, because, well, let's face it, his life does depend on it. We're gonna need a 3rd gas Evo chamber. He's not doing it. He wants to go. No. This is a blunder. Now this leaves the door open for this type of stuff. Picking off reinforcements, Ling run bys, roaches being picked up. Overlords are flying across. The roaches are going back. It's the opposite of what we usually see. Okay, 2 over... Solar's still in such a good spot. He just needs to take a 3rd base and an Evo chamber. I guess the Muta count right now is rising pretty rapidly. Oh my god, Solar with a complete misread. A complete misread. Could maybe still do it, though. Can he? I don't think he has enough queens. Does he have what it takes? 1 queen goes down here. There's 4 queens remaining. Because he needs creep the entire way through, right? We're gonna need a spore crawler somewhere, too. 1 more queen here. She's gonna die. Yeah, you don't have transfuses if you're not on creep. This is not... He needs to either do it slower, or he needs to not do this. And I would have preferred not doing it, but if you're doing it, it needs to be slower. Because now he's lost 2 queens. The head transfuses. Like, he has so much time. He has so... No, Solar. Could also run a spore forward, by the way, which would be sick. Kid, without transfuse, he can't hold this. Yeah, now he's dead. There's 3 queens remaining. These mutants are gonna fly back. I still think Solar could have done it. Now, he can still kill a lot of workers. Like, there's no ground force here. There's none. Nada. Nientes. 4 workers are going down. The queens are now gonna move across. Oh. What a game. He could have won. Maybe this build wasn't bad, but the execution was not good. That's it then. Alright, well, a really sick grand finals. It's one of the first times in my life that I actually enjoyed watching a ZVZ as well. It was a banger, as suggested to me. It was a banger indeed. But that's sadly going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy this ZVZ. I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Bye bye.